Hey, this is Gabe, and today I'll be converting a pair of working gloves into a pair of gauntlets. But as you can see, they're just short little gauntlets. I've been converting gloves into gauntlets for years, and my old pair needs to be replaced, so I'll be showing y'all the conversion process. The reason I first started converting regular gloves is because I needed extra protection while riding four-wheelers. For many years, I rode four-wheelers with my neighbors all over the place, and we would ride a lot during the winter. And not only is the cold wind blowing on your face, but it's also blowing up your sleeves. These gauntlets were the solution to cold winds coming up my arms, and they also provided pretty good protection from briars. But now, they keep me safe while I'm felling trees or just working in the woods, from either being cut up or rubbing up against one of the many poisonous plants. Anyways, right now I'm going to show you the process of how I make them. So as you can see right here, I'm cutting out the cloth, the fabric, to make the gauntlets. Right now this cloth is, I believe, 8 by 4.5, but that is too short. I recommend if you do this, you make it 11 by 5 inches. So 11 inches long by 5 inches wide. And that'll ensure that it's plenty long enough. And if it's too long, then you can always cut it shorter. So right here, I am sewing up the 4 edges of this cloth. This is the 8 inch by 4.5, but later on, I'll realize that this is too short. I'll make a longer 11 by 5 inch. Right now I'm just doing a single stitch just to keep everything in place. But if you're unfamiliar with sewing, you can leave it like this. You can sew it in just like this, but as you see, the edges aren't too pretty. So after I do the single stitch on all 4 edges, I'm going to fold over the edges and then sew it again, so that it'll have a pretty look to it. Here is the new 11 by 5 inch piece that I made later on. As you can see, it's double stitched on all sides, and right here is the fold over. As you can see, it's not a pretty fold over, but you can certainly make it prettier than this. But as you can see, here it is with the pretty edges. Now with the rectangle cut out and sewed properly, I'll be sewing it into the glove now. The first part to sew it into is the bottom of the glove, and you'll see why that's important once I finish it. But right now I'm doing a single stitch at the top of the wrist, but eventually I'll go down to the bottom of the wrist and do 2 more stitches, and that is to give it extra strength. Now, as you can see, it's only 1 stitch in, but I'll show you why you sew it in at the bottom first, so that the top will have that overlap of cloth and be tucked in below the bottom, and that's how it seals. A lot of these working gloves, they'll have a gap right where the thumb is, but as you can see, I filled that gap with a little patch, and you see I'm pointing right to it. But here is the finished glove with the Velcro. I didn't show the Velcro being sewn on, but I have the loop on the top part and the hook on the bottom. And as you can see, you just kind of slap it together, and that is what seals up the gauntlets. Here are my old pair of gauntlets. As you can see, they're pretty worn down, but these gloves are only a year old. As you can see, the Velcro's coming up undone. But it uses the same design as my newer gauntlets. When I was making them, I did a completely different design on the left glove just to kind of experiment. And as you can see, here's that different design of Velcro. As you can see, here are the new gloves with the added protection. That extra green piece is about 3 inches, and that's all I've found that you need to properly seal up from wind and to make good protection at your wrists. Anyways, I hope this kind of helped you, give you an idea as to how to modify your gloves to give yourself extra protection against wind or whatever. It's pretty simple, pretty cheap. These gloves were about 18 bucks. The cloth is about 12 bucks a yard. But of course, you need a sewing machine and you need some experience. So it's a good little trick to give yourself added protection. But anyways, thanks for watching.